Welcome once again to The Whole Truth podcast from Greenville County Democratic Party. I am Steve Ramirez, and to my right,
Charles Morris, outranked by Steve.
Outflanked. Let's see, on the left, on the right. We'll do left, right.
Is this an episode of The Whole Truth, or is this That's Not the
Well,
Whole
we're going to do it. This is The Whole Truth, but we're going to do a segment again called That's Not the Whole Truth.
Yes. And this time's a little bit different. Normally, Steve brings all the clips, and I have never heard them before. But this time, we both have done that.
Surprise each other.
I have clips, he has clips. So.
Although I will play them on my machine, but...
My machine.
It's an old machine.
Gen X over here.
So, you wanted to introduce him. So, we are going to be covering a couple of different things. These are not actually
another sip of water
a whole lot of South Carolina specific items. Some of these are, up at the national level, or actually most of these I think are probably up at the national level. But a lot of activity goes there that impacts here right in the South, and it flows downhill, if you want to think of it that way.
Yes, it does.
It matters, because what's said up there gets echoed like a little parrot.
It trickles down, if you will.
Yep. So go. What's the introduction on this one?
My trickle-down joke didn't get a laugh. This is everybody's favorite United States Senator. I can't remember what his actual first name is.
Cancun?
Ted Cancun Cruz. Let's hit it, sir.
50 years ago, this nation was confronted with an abuse of power. And it responded not with indifference, but with accountability. I'll tell you one of the big differences of Watergate versus Arctic Frost. When Richard Nixon and his corrupt attorney general and his corrupt administration abused their law enforcement powers to go after their political opponents, Republican senators stood up to the president of their own party and defended the rule of law. Where is even a single Democrat senator who has said one word about this abuse of power? 50 years.
Let me give some context for this before you react, Steve. Arctic Frost was a federal investigation into
FBI.
Donald Trump's attempts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Started in April of 2022 by the DOJ in the Biden administration, of course, headed by Merrick Garland at the time.
Witch hunt.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the focus was on, a lot of people we all know about January 6th, right? But what has flown under...
We on the left?
Yeah, exactly. What does not get talked about enough was the actual nuts and bolts of the scheme, which was to provide an alternative slate of electors, the Electoral College, which actually still technically elects the president, right? In 7 states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. I'll let you figure out why those 7 states. And they wanted to come up with an alternate slate of electors to send to the Capitol. And that's where Mike Pence was supposed to come in. Mike Pence, of course, vice president at the time, refused to go along with this treason, and his life was literally in mortal danger during the attack on the Capitol. So that's what Arctic Frost was. Anyway.
Yep, brought on by the FBI with absolutely no justifications whatsoever. You would hear, at least some of the clips that I have were exactly about the same thing. The Arctic Frost, Jack Smith investigations, and how they were just absolutely outrageous. And even Mark Levin, we'll play it in a little bit, said, no liberals, no Democrats stood up for the rule of law, and yet they all did. That's why we were all defending. You need to take this to court. You need to take this to fruition, and it got stopped because he got elected, and everybody went, oh, he is elected president. We do not go after sitting president.
Right. And we didn't start screaming about how the election was fake or whatever. But what the gall of Ted Cruz, Republicans at their core tend to be very hypocritical in these, grandstanding speeches they give. But to mention a party holding their own, the president from the same party, accountable, so to speak, when he is in the same party as Donald Trump. takes the cake for hypocrisy, Steve.
He actually did hold him accountable for what, about 20 minutes, I think, after January 6th. I think he was one of those who stood up and said something, but within, I don't know, less than a week.
Oh, as Ted Cruz tends to do. Remember, this goes back a long way between these two. I mean, Donald Trump called his wife ugly. I mean, it's actually kind of crazy how Ted Cruz has zero values. But he is right about what happened with Nixon. I mean, the Republican senators at the time essentially told Nixon staffers that the president does not have our support. They had to walk back to the White House from the Capitol and tell the president, Mr. President, you do not have support. You will be impeached and you will be convicted. And that's why the president decided to resign. But it's just so outrageous to use that great historical example of exactly what Republicans should be doing now to try to flip that onto Democrats as something they should have done with President Biden because his Justice Department was investigating actual crimes? I'm confused, Steve.
Yeah, we're once again telling the truth, but not really the whole truth on that side of the fence.
I thought you'd be proud of me for that.
Very good. Yeah, because it really does come down to, okay, what was Arthur Frost about? What were those investigations about? And did they have justification? Yes, they did. Now, the fact that they didn't go anywhere was for other reasons. It wasn't because there was nothing there. It was not a nothing burger.
It's because the man won the election. He was imminently, his indictment was imminent. And honestly, if we're being real about it, at the end of the day, a lot of this can be laid at the feet of Merrick Garland for taking so long to appoint Jack Smith as a special counsel to actually do something about this. And I hate to, blame one person for this, but I don't know that there is one person who deserves more blame than the former Attorney General Merrick Garland.
Oh, see, I don't know. There was no precedent for this kind of crap going on, and everybody was gobsmacked. The jaws were on the ground.
January 6th was outrageous, and he should be held accountable.
And you would think, all of these people were like, well, we have the Constitution. Well, the Constitution doesn't address having a dork like this in the elected
it actually
in
does,
the Oval Office.
It lays out how to impeach somebody.
True.
Which happened twice.
So Smith's office, the indictments and the evidence that was actually there, Smith's office concluded it had proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump committed crimes in both the election and the documents matters. The classified documents matters, according to Smith's later testimony and his written report. A 2-volume report finalized in early 2025, just last year, laid out evidence on both Trump's post-election conduct and his handling of the classified matters, but only the election-related volume was released. A judge, Eileen Cannon, permanently blocked release of the documents case volume, which we're actually hearing and floating up in the news right now.
Who appointed Eileen Cannon, Steve?
Let me think about that. Yeah, that would be the one on the right.
President Donald Trump.
Yeah, one of the minions.
I wonder why she did all this protecting of Donald Trump. You think maybe there was a bargain struck there? If I become president again and there's an opening, we got all this talk about Alito or Thomas stepping down.
I will protect you. I will get
Steve.
you. Yep. You're with me, then I will do you one good. What do you want to hear next?
You do one of yours.
Well, these are all in one row. So let's.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you. Okay. Let's. Oh my goodness. Let's go with Pete Hegseth's spiritual advisor, please. This is wild.
Well,
this is a long one. Got to listen to all of it.
This is the kind of guy you pray imprecatory psalms against, and I mean that actually. And first and foremost, we pray that a man like this would be cut to the heart. And me and my wife and I were talking about this in the car the other day, about imprecatory psalms, about God's enemies, and how whenever we are dealing in the category of enemies, right, we have private enemies whom you are to forgive, right? There is actual a Greek word for private enemies. Right? So These are the ones that you turn the other cheek. This is where you forgive. This is where you extend forgiveness after forgiveness after forgiveness. But then there's
Forgiveness
a whole
is
other
limited.
word for public enemies. Okay, and public enemies. These are the orcs at
Forgiveness
the gate.
doesn't
You
apply
are
to
not
Democrats.
called to love the barbarian horde that is planning to break into your city and pillage, plunder, rape, and mutilate you and your people. You don't love that horde. That is your enemy, and you pray. This is where you have imprecatory psalms. This is where you pray strongly. The psalmist is not shy. God, destroy them. Make them as dung on the ground, right? So, but Madison and I were talking about that, and so I say, even in the debate, I think you might have seen it, but that I had on campus the other day, I pray that God kills him. Ultimately, that means killing his heart and raising him up to new life in Christ. That's the first thing.
We want him crucified with Christ.
That's exactly
I
right.
want him to be, I think, Saul of Tarsus, Talarico of Tarsus.
Yes,
That's what I want. Who would say, I was
dancing.
holding the garments while they stoned Stephen, and now I'm that's what we want.
Wait
Yes,
for
we
it.
want death and new life, right? And if it would not be within God's will to do so, stop him by any means necessary, oh God.
Okay. I hesitated on this one because it touches on religion. But this man invited this when he said these things. So I'm just going to give a little bit of context here. This man is a pastor named Brooks Pottinger, and he is a pastor at a church that Pete Hegseth used to attend and is well known to be a quote-unquote spiritual advisor to Pete Hegseth.
Now he's at the Church of the Pentagon, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, exactly. And he was talking about a man by the name of James Talarico. You've probably heard of James Talarico recently. He won the Democratic primary for the U.S. Senate seat in the state of Texas.
Against
Texas again.
who?
Against Jasmine Crockett, Representative Jasmine Crockett.
But who will he be going up against?
It'll be either sitting Senator John Cornyn or the State Attorney General Ken Paxton.
Okay.
It's going to be one of those two, which is a whole other thing. They're both tap dancing for Trump, trying to get his endorsement. That's a whole just sad sack of Republican crap there. But this man was talking about James Talarico, who himself is a pastor.
Seminary.
Went to seminary, an ordained minister, and he said they pray that God kills him and crucifies him with Christ. And I'm just going to read verbatim Talarico's response. Jesus loves. Christian nationalism kills. You may pray for my death, Pastor, but I still love you. I love you more than you could ever hate me.
Saw that, loved it, taking the high road. Gee, is this what an actual Christian would say and how they would behave?
This man is a pastor.
I would think, yeah.
Preaching from a pulpit, saying things like this on a podcast about a politician because of his political views that include providing people with health care,
Not
helping
kicking
people
out,
to, have
welcoming
a safe place to
welcoming the
live,
stranger.
making sure that, we love our neighbors and don't, have ICE running around cracking down on people like the Gestapo, stuff like that.
Just sounds like a heathen to me.
This was, you're not shocked a lot anymore. This one actually shocked me, the gall of it, because this is a man who has the ear of one of the most powerful people on the planet, the Secretary of Defense in the United States, a country currently at war.
He did actually try to backpedal a little bit, I think, within the next 24 hours or so, even though some of his statements in the actual interview there was a little bit of gray area. It's like, we want him crucified. With Christ. With Christ.
Him to be the Talarico of Tarsus. And Saul of Tarsus is Paul, St. Paul, the apostle who spread the teachings of Christ in the first century, right? That's who they were referring to. So I could see where they might try to spin that and say, we want him to be redeemed or something. Mm-hmm. That's the language we use?
Killed and born again. And born again. That's what we want. But yeah, let's get it out there and have it pretty darn clear.
But here's my question. At the end, you said by any means necessary. What does that mean?
Well, that's up to the Lord.
Old Testament or New Testament?
And whoever is listening, to have them be the hands of the Lord.
Yeah, that was pretty outrageous. That was, I don't understand. I have some friends who are Republicans, some people that I know well, who I know listen to this show. I would genuinely like to know what the excuse for that rhetoric is, because these are some people who tell me all the time, oh, Democrats do the same thing. Please find that clip and play it for me like I just played this one for you. This was disgusting.
Hear, hear.
What's next, sir?
You got number 3, and I think it is one of the Barbies.
Caroline. Yes. Press Secretary Caroline
Barbie.
Levitt talking about the war in Iran. Let's hear it.
I will confess that was an ad hominem.
That was good. That got me for a second.
Going after what shouldn't matter, but here we go.
From the outset, President Trump and the Department of War estimated it would take approximately 4 to 6 weeks to achieve this critical mission. 25 days in, the greatest military the world has ever known is ahead of schedule and performing exceptionally. Day by day, the Iranian regime is being crippled, and their ability to threaten the United States and our allies is being significantly weakened. Their ambitions of building a nuclear weapon have also been crushed to an even greater degree than they were in Operation Midnight Hammer in June 20. From the out.
So,
What do you think,
just
Steve?
slathering propaganda. Oh my goodness, we could
Department of War. We're still doing that one.
Oh
aren't we?
yeah, that's. I guess they can't give
But
that one
we
up
want peace,
until he wants to change it to something else, and tell Pete.
which only Congress can change the name of a federal department, but whatever.
Yeah, it's not really the name of the department. I just put the letters on the outside. That's not changing the department's name. That's just the letters on the wall.
Correct. You know what? From now on, I'm Carlos. I'm not going to go to the court and change my name. I'm Carlos.
Yeah, but it's all going remarkably well. He said from the outset it will be a month. Oh, did he really? Well, the outset being one of the first 5 phrases where he outlined how long it would take.
Yeah, the president said that from the outset.
1 day, and then I think it's we don't know how long it'll be, and then it'll be 2 weeks. No, it'll be 1 month. So that outset. I think she's referring to that particular statement. Yeah.
Did he immediately contradict himself 30 seconds later? Didn't Pete say we don't know how long it takes? This is war? Could be 5 months?
There were a multitude of different variations of a theme of how long it would be, because whatever comes out of his mouth is the direction du jour.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a bad Soviet comedy. Is anybody in this administration ever on the same page about anything?
Can't be. The only page is to follow der Führer. That is the one. Whatever whim he has and whoever whispers in his ear last,
Yeah, correct.
that's the direction that is and matter.
Or whatever pops in his
What
head
matters.
when they wheel him out for 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
When he's not falling asleep, you know.
Obsequious. I think that's probably the best word for that.
Obsequious. That's a good one. Yes. Yes.
Just
yes.
whatever it takes to bow down and, you are my...
It's like the shoe thing.
Absolutely
Did we talk about
everything.
the shoe thing before? Have you seen the shoe thing?
Don't think so. No.
So Donald Trump.
Oh, okay. The shine. Yeah, the
He's been
Florsheim's.
ordering. He has a favorite brand of
Florsheim.
dress shoe.
I love them.
Florsheim.
They're
okay,
good. They're good shoes, but
that might be above my tax bracket. I don't know. And he's been ordering them for people in the administration, but not like just regular people, like the Secretary of State. But he doesn't know their shoe size, so I guess he just chooses something. So you see Marco Rubio walking around in these gigantic clown shoes. He's too much of a... I can't say that word. He's too much of a
Sycophant.
softy to just say, hey, Mr. President, I'll wear a size 7, not a size 12. Or,
the word is sycophant.
Whatever little Marco wears. Remember when he called him Little Marco? Anyway.
And you just wonder if Trump did that just to make him appear even more little.
Oh, you mean is Trump a cruel bully who likes to mess with people and would order them too big a shoe on purpose just to make them bow down? Yes, absolutely.
I can't fathom that would be the reality, but yeah.
And honestly, Steve, It's pretty funny. It's actually pretty funny.
Oy vey.
All right, that's it for me.
All right. Let's see. Let's do. So we're going to go back to Jack Smith.
Okay.
And the Arctic frost.
Trump's favorite person.
So this is from, let's see, I think it was Tuesday. Mark Levin, who is on evening radio WRD in the upstate of South Carolina. Now, Mark Levin is, I think he has an attorney, a lawyer. He's a lawyer, but he's now a mouthpiece on the far right, and he is on in the evenings. I think he's syndicated across the U.S. I'm not sure how many stations at all, but it's painful to listen to him. He has a method, actually, very much like a preacher, where they use crescendos and then release the tension, where he starts out, really low and kind of talks, and then he talks a little higher, and then you hear the pitch going up, and oh my God, it's absolutely outrageous! Can you believe what those Democrats are doing? Oh, it's horrible! It's just horrible. And then he kind of tails off. I didn't catch that one on this episode, but I was scrubbing my whatever that's called, the cursor back and forth, and you could hear it over that period of time, but I didn't find an obvious one to go through here. So let's go for this.
Yeah, this is a story as reported by Fox News. Jack Smith team secretly sought years of Kash Patel phone records, new documents show. This guy, Jack Smith, should have been working for Iran, for Putin, for Xi. In my humble opinion, as I've said from the beginning, the man is nothing but a thug. And somehow, some way, legally, he should be held accountable. And this is...
So, short bit, that's kind of his brief introduction to the piece. And, Jack Smith and what he gathered should have been working for Putin. Putin, he says, should have been working for Xi Jinping. So he's definitely one of them, other.
What did he mean by that? What is he trying to say?
That Jack Smith was doing...
That he's like some kind of foreign operative?
Yeah, foreign operative, not doing the U.S. work.
Spy or something?
Not working on the U.S. Constitution, not working within that Constitution. Yeah, he's definitely other. He had other ulterior motives.
And the crime was, how dare you question Donald Trump?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And then at the end, you got your basic ad hominem of calling him a thug. He's definitely not one of us, and he's less than human. So shortly after that...
2 subpoenas showed Smith's team asked Verizon for Patel's phone records dating from October 2020 through February 2023, writes Ashley Oliver. Former special counsel Jack Smith sought more than 2 years' worth of phone records from now FBI Director Kash Patel, while Smith was investigating President Donald Trump, according to a tranche of documents released today by Senator Chuck Grassley. Boy, he and his team did a hell of a job on this stuff. 2 subpoenas.
So he just lays out facts. He does say some of the facts, and this was during this period of time. He did this. He got these subpoenas. Although he does it in a tone where he's like, "Oh, they subpoenaed his information, Kash Patel," and the right knows that Kash Patel is now number 1 at the FBI. So he subpoenaed phone records from Kash Patel. How awful is that? Well, there was an investigation going on, and it was rather important because it was the former president of the United States doing some dirty deeds. So we're going to look at that.
Steve? How do you get a subpoena?
Judges.
You go through a court.
Yeah, the United States court.
What is he? He's laying out legal maneuvers? What's the controversy?
He doesn't.
Kash Patel.
He doesn't state that.
Who today it was the story came out that his personal emails got hacked. This guy's the FBI director.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I'm supposed to feel bad for Kash Patel.
Yep.
His phone records got subpoenaed. Okay, so have millions of other people in the course of a legal investigation. What's this guy's name?
Mark Levin.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Lark Mavin.
So I just love the tail end of that segment.
Chuck Grassley. Boy, he and his team did a hell of a job on this stuff.
He pulled those records out of the archives. Wow. Good job, Grassley.
He says he and his team did a hell of a job.
I just got a kick out of that.
Highly accomplished prosecutors, Lark. Holy, these guys are crazy, man.
So here's another one. It's kind of the same thing where he just outlines a lot of what was legally being done, and he just acts as if it's incredible outrage that they were actually trying to comply with the law and find.
Two subpoenas showed Smith's team asked Verizon for Patel's phone records dating from October 2020 through February 20.
Longer one. Sorry about that. I did.
Was that not the same thing?
It was not. It was, but it was twice the speed. I just wanted to caveat that, just because it's rather long.
Two subpoenas showed Smith's team asked Verizon for Patel's phone records dating from October 2020 through February 2023. Patel
Same
first
thing.
announced the subpoena's existence in February, calling them outrageous and deeply alarming at the time. Patel worked in the first Trump administration from 2019 through January 2012 before becoming an outspoken pro-Trump firebrand, they write, as a private citizen, meaning the subpoena stretched back into his time as a government official. This guy was on a hell of a fishing expedition, wasn't he? Two subpoenas.
So he basically outlines the same material.
I love how he sounded it 2 times.
That's the only way I can listen to it. It's like, I got to get past this. Okay, listening for the substance. Okay, well, he actually did outline some real facts. This is what they pulled. This is what they did. They were looking for that information. Isn't that outrageous? Why is it outrageous, Mark? You're not telling us exactly why it's outrageous. Is it against the law?
Official, which they're probably far more likely to get subpoenaed than anybody else as a government official because of the nature of their work. What point is he making?
Yep. And at the tail end of that,
we're still dragging Hillary Clinton into Congress. I mean, what are you getting at, dude?
Government official. This guy was on a hell of a fishing
expedition.
Yeah,
just
a witch hunt, a fishing expedition.
Absolutely, just baseless, assertion that just it's a fishing expedition.
But Hunter Biden's laptop was totally normal,
and that was in there actually too. But
that came up again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, the greatest hits. Did Benghazi come up too? Was that it?
No, not on this one. But
Republican members of the House and Senate, individuals who worked for the president but then went into the private sector. Stunning. And you know what he came up with? Nothing.
Did he? Did he really come up with nothing? And the assertion of coming up with nothing was because the president's still there. Well, why is that? Well, a lot of people elected him.
Right.
There is no other reason than that, because that's what basically pulled that investigation off the shelf, and the indictments and all of that effort said, okay, he is elected. That's what the people want. This is what our regulations within the DOJ and our norms say. Is like, no, we don't pursue an elected official like this, so, or president of the United States.
But also, I mean, it's so much simpler than that. He's going to be the president, and the Department of Justice is is part of the executive branch, which
under his
for years has been independent. But under Trump, we know that that's not the case. So of course, these investigations were going to be closed.
If we didn't pull out, then they would certainly be stopped, or they were certainly afterwards as well.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, they found nothing. Well, Jack Smith went up to the Hill earlier this month. At the end of last month, and testified, no, we found a lot of stuff. He was going to be indicted imminently. They were just waiting on the election. If he loses the election, he's getting indicted.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, but you believe what you want to believe.
I think we're going to do one more.
The subpoenas were accompanied by 1-year court-authorized gag orders, meaning Verizon was ordered by the judge not to alert Patel of their existence. It's common for prosecutors to subpoena phone records, also known as toll records, as part of investigations. The records would not include contents of messages, but would show with whom Patel communicated and when. No, it's not common to be going after people who serve the President of the United States. That's not common at all.
Which is truth. You don't have many investigations of people associated with the president. That's irrelevant.
We've had a lot of presidents like this.
We don't have presidents that break this many rules.
But that's not true, though. That in reality, that's really just not true. Under Bush, you had Scooter Libby, who went to jail. Okay, in the Clinton administration, they went after a whole bunch of people, including the president himself. Reagan, Oliver North. President Nixon resigned. His chief of staff, H.R. Haldeman, went to prison. So that's actually just not true. But you have to know history and precedents to know that. It's actually quite common for people who serve the president to be investigated, because we investigate people if they do crimes, or at least we're supposed to in this country. And also, the thing he said about gag orders, it's funny how he went from how outrageous it was to subpoena the phone records to then he said it's normal, right?
Well,
right?
Yeah. I mean, he's sitting there saying how outrageous it is that they had gag orders on. Oh, can you believe that phone company was not even going to tell him that they were being wiretapped?
Yeah, it's like
what? I'm sorry. What? You want us to tell the person that they're being
gag
wiretapped?
orders are perfectly normal. Dude, I've been under a gag order before in a civil thing. I didn't commit any crimes, but that's normal because as the investigation plays out, the investigation cannot be impeded or negatively influenced by people talking or people being made aware of things, because if you're investigating somebody by subpoenaing their phone records and the phone company immediately tells them, what is that person going to do? What's the first thing they're going to do?
Undermine the entire
They're going to
thing,
stop
destroy
talking
the
to
records.
everybody. They're going to try to destroy records. They're going to toss the phone. They're going to get a new phone. They're going to say, stop texting me. I mean, what are we talking about here? This is common sense.
Yeah, that was actually destroying the records was one of the reasons Ted Cruz was claiming that it was such. Well, it was also in this episode with Mark Levin saying that the reason that they asked for the records and put the gag orders in there was to prevent Cruz from destroying records. And he states how outrageous that is, that he wouldn't destroy records. Okay.
Okay, Ted.
So, yeah. Little bits of truth, tiny bits of truth wrapped up in all sorts of garbage. But, what happened? Actually, pretty much of that was above the board, according to the law. And there will be probably arguments for a long time to come on whether or not Eileen Cannon should have shut it down. The reasons that she gave for the classified documents and wrote in her decision why that should be dumped never went to the Supreme Court, never got appealed because Donald Trump got elected.
And the case was closed.
And one of the later comments in here was, and they found nothing before it, and he got tossed out of court. Well, no, he didn't get tossed out of court. They withdrew because they knew it wasn't going to go up to the Supreme Court. But by the time it was all over, he was going to be the president, and like we said before. But that's all.
Well, here's the last thing I'll say about that. In reality, they found reams, literally, of evidence that Donald Trump stole classified documents, stored them in a totally unsecure manner at Mar-a-Lago, including in a bathroom. We've all seen the picture. And leveraged those documents, some things that were so incredibly secret, less than a dozen people in the United States government knew about them, in order to personally enrich himself.
Yep.
That is treason of the highest order.
Making money off us.
Treason is the one crime mentioned in the United States Constitution.
Your money going into his pocket.
And they also talk about how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. That's about all. Don't want to drone on too long for this. Really love to, but I think that's about it. What do you think?
That's it. That was fun. Well, here's what. That guy, he was not as outrageous as the last 3 times we've done this.
This was mild. I'll find some other days
I can't believe
that we
my word, they've gotten to
up.
me. They've lowered the bar so much. I think this guy is actually just kind of a goof and not that crazy. But as usual, WORD, I'll come on your show, anybody's show, on your radio station, anytime. Talk to anybody. My employer, in fact, has already approved of me taking off for that. Seriously, bring me on. Let's go.
All right. Until next time, thanks a bunch. Talk to you soon. The Greenville County Democratic Party appreciates your time listening and watching the Whole Truth Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. While you're there, please follow us, like or subscribe to this channel to help us spread the word. The Democratic Party needs you to get actively involved and join us at future events. You can find out about them at multiple locations like the GCDP website, greenvilledemocrats.com, and browse the events calendar. You can also keep up with us through our social media presence on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Threads. Look for @GVLDem. Thanks again for listening. Let's get out there and do what we can to rebuild our government into one that serves us all. Thanks.